Hi everyone, welcome to another assignment video. I'm going to try and keep this one quick. It's going to be a long one because it's a longer project, but we're going to be going over the text monster game. So the text monster game is a fully text-based game where you type in all the commands that you want to, do so that you're like playing in like a dungeon almost. So we start off in this start box and you can choose left, right, grab, fight. I think those are all the possible, like here, left, right, up, down, grab, fight. And you're trying to make your way all the way to this crown. So, so we would start from the start. We would go right, we'd pick up the sword, we'd pick up another sword, we'd go up the stairs, then we pick up this rock. The rock, the rock is something that you need to defeat the boss. So you would fight a monster with a sword and just a single sword, and then you'd fight the boss with a rock and a sword. And you would fight the monster, you get rid of a sword, then you'd go up the stairs. You can optionally take the stone, but you don't need it, right? Because you already have this stone. So you would just fight the boss and you would lose these two. Then you would go to the prize and you win. So that's the game we're gonna sort of be playing, and we're gonna code it up. So let's get started. So open up your folder wherever you want to make the game, and just new file. I'll call it game.py. All right. So it's always a good idea to have a header for your file, so I'm going to copy this over. Today is the 30th. And now it's time to start the code. So I'm going to start off with a print a new line. This is just to separate whenever I run anything, like if I were just to do hello world and run it. Whoops, this is so... Oh, that's the wrong slash. This slash. It kind of separates the all the junk up here with your actual program. So it's kind of like a separator almost. So separator. All right, so now we need to get the lists that represent our game here. So I already have these written up, so I'm just going to copy these over. And I only have 3 floors. I think you're required to have 4 or 5 floors. I'm not too sure, but just extending this, it should not be a problem, right? And then another thing that we need to keep track of is the inventory of the player and the current room. So we would start off at 0 and the current floor, and we would start off on floor 1. And the way that this is intended to work is that the current floor represents which list that we need to keep track of, kind of like how you're in a single floor, and the current room would mean which room inside that floor are you in. So each floor has 4 rooms, which are indexed from 0, 1, 2, and 3. So if we're moving right, our current move would increase. If we're moving up, our floor would change to floor 2 or something. All right, so we have all the state variables pretty much taken care of. And now let's start the game loop. So first thing we need to do is a while loop. And for the while condition, let's just say not stop. We'll figure out our stopping conditions, and whenever we need to stop, we'll just set stop to true, and then the loop will end. So stop equals false. All right, so at the beginning, it will always pass the while loop until we set stop to true. All right, so now what we need to do is gather input from user. And to do that, how do I hide this? There we go. And to do that, we would say action equals input, what would you like to do? Alright, and a space there to give a nice looking prompt. Save, and just for now we're just going to print action. Just to make sure that our thing is working. So hit run. I would want to grab, fight, details, and basically whatever we put in will just be echoed back. So that's kind of dumb. So we need to add some conditions here, right? So if we're typing a certain word, a certain set of actions would happen, right? So what I'm going to do is have a bunch of if-elses. So if for every single one of these actions, possible actions here. So if action equals lower, I'll write pass here. I'll explain what that is, but first I want to write in all the... I think I'll just cut to when I have this finished. Alright, so I made the general skeleton of the project. So we have our getting the action, and for each possible action we're going to do some stuff. Right now I haven't specified it, so I just said pass, so there's no squigglies that'll show up, but I'm gonna have to write something there eventually. And I have these two ending ones. So help is something that you can type and it'll give you all possible actions. And if none of these match, then I just say couldn't understand your command, type help to find a list of actions. Right, so that's a good starter point, but now we need to start filling in all the logic here for each of these actions. So the first thing we're going to do is the moving left and right. So in order to move left, we need to make sure that there's a left space. So the way that we're going to do that is we know we're on the left if we're at index 0. So we're just going to say if current room does not equal 0, then whatever we have here will only run if current room is not 0. So if current room is not 0, then all we really want to do is increase current room by 1, right? Because that's plus equals 1. So what that does is it just increases your room 1 to the right. So, oh, that's right. So it would be minus equals. So that's moving to the left now. Now the opposite would be true for the right, except, right, we're not looking for 0, we're looking at the end of the list. So we can just do len of, let's not do it like this. Let's just specify the number. So 0, 1, 2, 3 does not equal 3. So current room plus equals this time to increase the size. And action up, we can only do that if the current floor at the current room equals stairs up, right? Because we can only go up if there's stairs pointing up. In which case we would say current floor. Actually, this is a little trickier than I was originally expecting. So, let's just say pass for now. Just get the basic idea of what we're doing. So, now if current floor, current room equals stairs down this time, we'll just pass. What is this complaining about? Current floor is not defined. Oh, wait. What? Did I spell it wrong? I think I did. Current floor. Alright. Stairs up, stairs down, and right, so if we're on the first floor, then we need to move to the second floor, and if we're on the second floor, we need to move to the third floor. So those are our two conditions. You might have more because you have more floors. So if current floor equals floor 1, then what we have to do is say current floor equals floor 2. And just an elif for floor 2 to 3. So current floor equals floor 2. Then current floor equals floor 3. So that's moving up the floor and now moving down. So if current floor equals floor 3, then current floor equals floor 2, and elif current floor is floor 2, then current floor equals floor 1. Cool. So I think with that we can almost run our code and see what's happening. So let's just print what's inside the room as we're going through. So let's do print. Actually, we should do it once before the loop. So print current floor, current room. Whoops. Current room. We should say you see, and then plus that. So it's going to say like you see nothing, you see sword, swords, or whatever. So we're going to also do that inside the loop. So after the end, right? So after we do there, so after we have our action and whatever change happens in the floor or whatever, we're just going to print what's currently inside the room. So you're not lost if you're like a few actions deep. So let's save, let's run. Oh, okay. Let's stop that and run a new one. So what would you like to do? Let's try moving left. We can't move left, so we'll see what happens. So we see nothing, meaning that we're still at this place. So let's move right, and we see sword. And then we move right again, sword again, right again. We see stairs up, right again. We still see stairs up. Now if we move up, we'll see stairs down, then left, 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 up, right, 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 and we're at the prize. We basically won. We're just kind of cheating because we haven't fought anything, we haven't grabbed anything, but now we're going to do what should we do next? Let's do inventory. So when you grab something, we need to add it to the inventory, and we need to make sure that what's in this room gets set back to nothing, so you can't pick up infinite swords or monsters or whatever. So if we're on grab, then the only times we can grab is if we're on a stone, a sword, or the prize. So if current floor, current room. So since I'm using this current floor, current room thing, I think what I'll do is I'll say occupant equals that, and anytime I say current floor, current room, I'll just say if occupant and so if occupant equals occupant, so if that equals a sword, or occupant equals stone, or occupant equals prize, right? What we're going to be doing is we need to attach it to our inventory list. So before we do that, we need to check our length of the inventory list and make sure that's not too long. So we can only pick up 3 things at once. So if len of inventory is less than 3, then all we can do is inventory dot append our occupant, and we'll just say current floor, current room equals nothing. So we can't actually say occupant equals nothing because it'll just change the value of the variable occupant. It won't actually change what's inside these lists, which is why we need to access these directly with current floor and current room. All right, so we're down here, and we should say else, meaning if we're already at the max inventory level, we just say print you can't pick up anything else. All right. Let me see if we're missing anything. This, right? We pick up, we have, and I think this should work. So let's run our code again. Whoops, we should stop our code before we run it. And so we move right, we grab, there we see nothing, then right, grab, we see nothing, right, up, left, grab, we see nothing, then left, grab. It did not print, you can't pick that up. So I think that's one thing we have to add, and then let's go left, up, right, we see stone, we grab, we can't pick up anything else. All right, so that's working. And we should have an else for this overall if here. So we should say make sure we can grab something. Make sure we have inventory space. And then else, we'll say print you cannot pick up, and then we'll say occupants. So it's like you can't pick up stairs up or whatever. All right, that looks Gucci. So next, I think we're done with grab. So next we should do fight, right? So when we fight a monster, we need to remove the sword. When we fight a boss, we need to remove a sword and a stone. So first thing, we need to make sure it's something we can fight. So let's worry about just the monster for now. We can add the case of the boss later. So if occupants equals monster, And then we need to check if a sword is in the inventory, right? So if sword in inventory. Oh, there's two spaces here. I don't like that. So if a sword is in the inventory, then we just do inventory.remove sword. So we remove a sword from the inventory, right? It doesn't matter which sword, just as long as one gets deleted. And we print you defeated the monster, and we need to set the occupant of the room to nothing, right? So we can't do occupant equals nothing, so we have to do, again, current floor at the current room equals nothing. All right, and then we should say if we don't have a sword, else print you were ill prepared for the fight. Try you lost. Okay, and since we lost, we should say stop equals true, right? And now our stop condition is met. Yep, stop equals true. So save that, run, close again, and run. So we want to move right. Let's not pick up anything and make sure that the game ends. Up, left, left, fight. And there we go. You were ill prepared. We see this UC monster. We can get rid of that. So if we notice, it's at the end of the loop. So if we ever reach here, we can just say stop equals true and then continue. And what this does is it skips the rest of the loop and it goes straight back to the while loop. So if we run this again and just quickly right, 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 up, left, left, fight. There. Now it no longer prints that UC monster thing. All right, so now let's do a boss. So we can just do an elif here. Elif occupant equals boss. Then we should say if sword in inventory and stone in inventory, then inventory.remove sword and inventory.remove stone. Then we'd say print you defeated the boss, and we would set the current floor, current room to nothing. Current room equals nothing. Nice. And we have to have our else print you were ill prepared for the boss fight. You lost, that's a lowercase l and a period. Then we say stop equals true and continue. Again, to skip the UC monster. That should be it for the boss. And all right, let's save this. We'll run it, and now we'll actually try and defeat the monsters. So we go right, grab, right, up, left, grab. Now we have everything. We have 2 swords and a stone, so we don't have to pick up anything else. So left, fight the monster. We defeated the monster. Left, up, right. We see the stone. We don't need the stone. Right, boss, and then now we fight. There, we defeated the boss. We see nothing, and there's nothing else we can do, right? But there's an issue here. So if we run the code again, and we go right, 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 up, left, left, back to the monster, and we try to move past the monster, we shouldn't be able to, but we're able to. So we need to figure out if we're moving past the monster, which is a little more difficult than it sounds. So the way that I decided to fix that is I need to keep track of the exit direction. Meaning, if we enter a room, we have to know which way to exit the room that we came from. So we need to know which way we entered the room to know which way we have to exit if we're in a monster. And we don't know, we need to keep track of that for every single room that we're in, because we don't know which room has a monster. We want this to work with any configuration of floors. So we would say inventory, below inventory, we will say exit direction equals this. And so if we're moving right, then the exit direction would be left. If we're moving left, the exit direction would be right. So in our action left, we need to have a little bit more logic inside. So if we're fighting a monster, we need to what do we call? We need to make sure that the exit direction matches our action. So if current floor, we should say occupant. So if occupant equals monster and exit direction equals right, meaning that the monster is still there and we're not exiting in the exit direction, then we died trying to get past the monster. And then we'd say stop equals true. And we would do the continue thing again. Now we should say elif occupant equals boss and exit direction equals right. We would do the same thing. So just copy and paste. Except this time it's a boss. So stop equals true, and then continue to stop, and then else we should do this. We should check if we are in the left room. So Command X, paste, and then so if we're in the current room, then we check if there's a monster and everything. And then we should just say else we decrease the current room by 1, and then we need to reset the exit direction so that if the next thing is a boss, then we know which way to exit. So if exit direction equals to set it, so equals right, because we moved left into a spot. All right, so now we need to copy this into the right action. So it's going to be very similar. So we're just going to copy, we don't need to copy that first if statement, we just need to copy this part. So we'll put that, and then before we forget, we're going to do plus equals 1, and then now the exit direction will be left because we're moving right into a room. So if occupant equals boss and exit direction equals left this time and left this time. And that should work. So let's run our code. Let's Control C to stop and then run. We need to move right, grab right, up, left, grab, then left. We see a monster. Let's try and fight this monster. There, we defeated the monster. Left, up, right. Now we're at the boss. Let's try to move past the boss. Boom, we died trying to get past the boss. All right, we're almost done. The last thing that we have to do is make it so that if we grab the prize, then we win the game. So the logic will be in the grab command, so wherever grab is here, and if sword, stone, or prize, right? So if line of inventory is less than 3, I think we should have an elif, so you can pick up a prize no matter how much is in the inventory, right? Because if you have 2 stones and a sword, the only way that you can pick up the prize is if you fight a monster. So I don't want you to, after you defeat the boss, have to go back through the dungeon, find a monster, and fight it. So I'm just going to say you can pick it up no matter how many items. So else elif, we should do elif occupant equals prize. I think we should do it like this. We'll remove this OR here, and we'll make the elif here. So elif occupant equals prize, and then pass, and then else we'll do this. You cannot pick up. So if occupant equals prize, then all we do is print you picked up the prize, and then you win. You win. Whoops. You win, and we continue so we can skip the you see nothing part. And let's save. Let's run. And left. Oh, right. Right. Grab. Grab. Right. Grab. Right. Up. Left. Grab. Left. Fight. Left. Up. Right. We skip the stone. And then we fight the boss. Then we move to the prize, and then we grab the prize, and we win. Except we forgot to set stop equals true, so we're still continuing. So here we are. Stop equals true. And just to, we're going to speed run this game now, just to verify that everything works. And right, grab, right, up, left, grab, left, fight. So we beat the monster. Now left, up, right, fight the boss, and then grab the prize. What? Oh, I forgot to go right. We see the prize, grab, and we picked up the prize. Nice. Alright, so hopefully that helped you out if you got stuck. I know I went a little bit fast, so maybe watch the video a couple times until you get every part of what I did. There's still a lot of things that you can modify, like especially the messages that I'm putting. It's kind of rudimentary and not very clear. And I'm sure the document has a lot of suggestions in how you can improve. And I encourage you to go all the way with this project, because now you have your first full-fledged game. So congratulations. Alright, thank you. I'll catch you in the next video.